Imagine holding a simple copper coin in your hand, a coin that millions of Americans once used every single day to buy candy newspapers or a morning cup of coffee, yet hidden within that small coin is a story that stretches back to the heart of the American spirit. The Lincoln penny of 1963 is not just a piece of change, it is a reflection of history, politics, art, economics, and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln. When we dive into the story of the 1963 penny, we uncover a tale that begins decades earlier in 1909, when the Lincoln cent was first issued to mark the centennial of Lincoln's birth. It was the first circulating American coin to feature a real person, and it carried with it the power of symbolism representing honesty, leadership, and unity. By 1963, the Lincoln penny had been in circulation for more than half a century, and the United States was a nation in transition. The early 1960s were a time of optimism and tension. The country was experiencing rapid economic growth. The space race was underway, and civil rights movements were gaining momentum at the same time. International pressures and Cold War rivalries shaped policy decisions and influenced every level of society. Coins minted in this period were more than pocket change. They were silent witnesses to an age of transformation. The Lincoln penny of 1963 was struck at two principal mints, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia Mint produced coins without mint marks, while the Denver Mint carried the letter D beneath the date together. They created hundreds of millions of these cents, ensuring their wide circulation in every corner of the country to the average person. It was just a penny, but to the collector and historian, the 1963 cent holds a mirror to the culture and industry of its time. These coins were struck primarily from an alloy of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving them the distinctive reddish-brown tone that collectors still admire. Today, their weight was 11 grams, and their diameter was 19 millimeters, specifications that had been standard for decades and would remain until the dramatic changes of 1982, when rising copper prices forced a shift in composition. The obverse design of the 1963 penny retained. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln, created by Victor David Brenner in 1909, his profile facing right, is a design that remains instantly recognizable, even to those who are not coin collectors, above his head. The motto, "In God We Trust," is prominently displayed. The word liberty rests to the left, and the year 1963 is positioned to the right for coins minted in Denver. The small d appears just below the date. This design, although simple, has endured for over a century, and its familiarity is part of what makes it so iconic. On the reverse of the 1963 penny, we find the wheat ears design created to accompany the Lincoln portrait. When the coin first debuted in 1909, two stylized sheaves of wheat frame the words 1 cent and United States of America above them. The national motto, E pluribus unum, reminds us of unity through diversity. By 1963, this reverse design was nearing the end of its era, as it would be replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial design. However, many 1963 pennies still featured remnants of earlier striking techniques, and their artistic clarity often varies depending on how well the dies were prepared. To understand the full story of the 1963 Lincoln penny, we must also consider the broader economic context of the time. In 1963, the United States was moving through a period of sustained growth. The Kennedy administration sought to strengthen the economy through tax reforms and public investments. Inflation was low, unemployment was improving, and consumer spending was high. In this environment, coins circulated widely, and the production of cents was crucial to everyday commerce. The mint had to balance efficiency with quality, ensuring that billions of coins could be produced quickly yet accurately. Any small change in metal prices or minting technology could have wide-reaching consequences, which is why the composition of the penny remained stable until the economic pressures of later decades forced adjustments. Collectors today often study The 1963 penny for its varieties, errors, and minting quirks, while most examples are common and hold only face value in circulated condition. There are rare exceptions. Coins with doubled dies repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes can fetch significant interest and value for numismatists. These varieties are not merely curiosities, they are historical evidence of the minting process and the challenges of mass production. In the early 1960s, each error tells a story of human oversight or mechanical imperfection, and for many collectors, the hunt for these anomalies is part of the thrill of numismatics. But the story of the 1963 penny does not end with its minting or even its circulation. It also lives on in the cultural memory. Of the time, a penny in 1963 could buy a stick of gum or a piece of candy. School children might have filled jars with pennies as savings, and countless Americans dropped them into wishing wells or pressed them into the hands of children as tokens of luck. The Lincoln cent was everywhere from city streets to rural general stores, and in its quiet way, it linked generations together as we expand this history into a full journey lasting hours. We can trace the origins of the Lincoln cent back to the political climate of 1909, the influence of President Theodore Roosevelt on coin design, the artistry of Victor David Brenner, and the evolution of American coinage through the first half of the 20th century. We can follow the penny through the Great Depression, when copper shortages forced experimentation with alloys, through World War II, when steel cents were introduced in 1943, and into the post-war years when prosperity and innovation reshaped American life by the time we arrive. At 1963, the Lincoln penny stands as both a familiar constant and a reflection of change. To fully explore the 1963 penny, we would also journey into the lives of collectors and historians, those who preserve rolls of uncirculated coins in pristine condition, those who search for rare mint errors under magnifying glasses, and those who study the economic reports of the mint to understand how production decisions were made. We would look at how the penny functioned in the economy of the time, what role it played in the everyday life of Americans, and why it remains so symbolic today, even as discussions continue about whether the penny should still be produced in the 21st century. The Lincoln penny of 1963 is more than a coin. It is a chapter in the long story of American currency. It reflects the craftsmanship of the mint, the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, the economic realities of its age, and the enduring connection between a nation and its money. To hold one today is to touch a piece of living history, a reminder that even the smallest denomination can carry with it the weight of culture, art, and memory. And when we unravel its story, we discover that the humble 1963 Lincoln penny is not just pocket change, but a window into the soul of America.